Hello there. I am Debbie Silverberg from the Rockland Arts Festival, and I am interviewing Naomi Vladeck as part of our authors series. Hi there, Naomi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be with you.
I'm glad you're here. Um, I wanted to talk to you about your Braving Creativity book, and I wanted to know what inspired you to write a book.
Yes, so I was inspired to write this book because I had gotten to a point in my journey after my husband passed away in 2015 where I had some clarity about my own courage to create through a very difficult period, a new life, a new beginning. And as an artist, a woman who's always worked in the performing arts and has always championed the work of artists as a nonprofit worker in fundraising and as a founder of nonprofits in the arts and performance universe, I was very curious about how artists used their time in their own life transitions. How did they bring their curiosity to the kind of painful uncertainty that most of us had really introduced to talking about, at least during COVID? So it was very much part of the zeitgeist at the time I was thinking about this, about how do we navigate the in-between, the liminality, the aloneness, to create something new. And so that's what the point of departure was, to give a voice to that and uncover what creativity became available to us when we were starting from a blank page, empty stage, or canvas in our lives.
It's a big point of inspiration for sure. And
Yeah.
many of us go through that. I know. Um,
Yes.
so can you share a little bit of what your process was for writing the book?
Yeah, so as soon as I understood that I was being sort of called to write something, in my inimitable way, and how I teach my clients is to identify the resources that you have available to you. And that's not just financial, but really it's about building community around the thing that you want to create so that you have enough um, support to shore you up when it gets hard, when resistance inevitably arises. And so I did just that. I looked around me to coaches in the field of creativity. I actually was inspired by a few who were writing their own books. And I knew that I would have to be inside of a process with other artists and writers to keep me on task because I wanted to do it in a certain amount of time. So I engaged with a hybrid publishing model and I did it that way. And what that means is that you basically pay to play. You get inside of a coaching community of writers who teach you how to begin to put a book together, and you follow their map pretty closely in terms of deadlines. And I was able to get through to the book in 10 months, and then they publish it, and the launch and promotion was on me. And I, having been a fundraiser my whole life, I felt confident that I could do that in the way I wanted to do it. So that's how that happened. That's how it came to be, looking for inspiration, finding it, and then getting other people on board to support me. And that meant my family. It meant I had a circle of allies who were supporting me, locally. And I, used all my tools to get that done. That done. Yep.
It's an impressive thing to complete in 10 months.
Yes.
And I am personally impressed.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
so how did you pick the artist stories you chose to
Yeah.
put in your book?
Yeah. So I also looked right around me. This is how I teach about networking, really, is just what is in plain sight. Who are the people from based on your whole life experience that you've met, that you've been inspired by, that that reflect you that you can reach out to explore the synergies and possibilities. And that's exactly what I did. I spent my whole life working in the performing arts, in visual arts arenas and in museum spaces. And so I reached out to the women that I had known and admired my whole career. And I didn't know when I reached out to them whether or not they had a story that they'd be willing to share, or a story that would reflect what I was trying to get at. And just to your point, at this stage, the women who I was reaching out to are basically all in their mid-career, midlife stages. And so, of course, we've all had some kind of crisis or disruption in our lives that we can speak about. But I wasn't really sure if artists would want to speak about that time in their life with me. I mean, sure, we want to talk about our work, and even that can be challenging when we're bringing visibility to our most vulnerable places. But they were, gratefully, they said yes, and that's how it started. I interviewed, several dozens of artists, and they all had compelling stories. And in the end, there are 15 stories in the book, including mine. And the book is structured to uh, grapple with themes like crisis and grief. Those are two separate chapters. Desire as a way of provoking change based on our own longing to create something that matters to us. And then the idea of opportunity, creating your own luck, as it were, and how we still have to carry fear with us, in order to find the excitement that is behind the fear, hiding there, with each small sort of inquiry step or courageous leap into the unknown.
I think that it's really wonderful that you could get all these women to share their stories and to be want to be a part of your book. And I read the crisis one,
Yes.
and I could empathize with not being able to use a part of your body to be able to do something you've done all your life, and just
Mhm.
how hard it could be to come back to it. But your answer to it, or her answer to it, was wonderful. Just play and see what happens.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I could totally appreciate that was I enjoyed that part of the book.
Yeah, I
And
can just add, I can add that to that really beautiful chapter. An artist who had, her painting hand was, crushed during a car accident. And the story is about not so much, her work, her body of work, but about how she had to navigate her resistance, particularly denial. And later on, sort of perfectionism, the idea that she wasn't going to be able to create the way she used to create, at least initially. And so using a tool like play, I think the supposition in the book is that I believe that artists have a facility with uncertainty because they're facing it every day. Every time they step into an empty place or blank page or canvas, they are utilizing certain skills that they can bring to the same circumstances in life. And so that's kind of what I wanted to illuminate. Because I had a big question, like for my own journey, why would I make choices to be so vulnerable in a creative, let's say, so for those who haven't read the book, so during my recovery from my husband's passing, um, I took my story to the stage. I wrote, about pieces of, that time after he passed, to kind of unpack who I was then, in those first 3 years, because it was very confusing and challenging time. And I was wondering how it was that I had the ability or even chose to show up in that way. And so that's why I was curious, like, about artists who, most of the stories in the book are about artists who actually use their medium to grapple with the most difficult parts of their stories. And I was curious about why. Why did we do that in addition to how we did it?
great. So how did it feel to win an award?
It was a nice surprise. It was a nice surprise. Yeah, I mean, to be fully transparent for those of my writers out there who are writing, with small presses or a hybrid, these are applications that you can put in. You can apply for awards. And when I was doing it one day, I thought, oh my God, why am I? This is, wow, applying for awards. It takes so much time, other things to do. And I was really grateful that I did it because it's really important when you're doing difficult work, when you're being vulnerable, to be able to invite reflection and recognition and have opportunities to celebrate. And so this was a sort of gift to my future self that I did do that. And I was really pleased because I won 3 awards for the book. And I'm maybe more are coming, I don't know, but it's really nice. It's great. Plus you get lots of stickers and I love stickers. Yeah.
Well, if somebody's interested in getting your book or getting in touch with you, how would they do that?
Yeah, so it's really easy. You just go to creativitymatterscoaching.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Creativity Matters Coaching. And if you are longing to create something in your life and feeling some stuckness around it, read this book. First of all, you'll be inspired by the process of becoming that is illuminated in these stories, and then also join one of our groups. I do lots of free workshops and boot camps, and I also do multi-week courses that are super accessible. And if you're interested in growing bigger than your fear, and this is a chapter of your life that you are looking to make some really powerful choices, be in touch. I'd love to talk to you. I love to talk about that all day long. So don't be shy.
Thank you, Naomi. Have a great day.
Thank you, Debbie. It's so good to talk to you.